Hello and welcome back. Thank you very much for joining. So, where did we leave off this morning? So, we got to this line, the edge of the bonnet, and I believe it was looking good in this view, top view. But in side view, it was dipping down a little bit. Excuse me. So we're just going to add a little bit of crown to this line here so that it goes up a little bit rather than just shooting off and having this sort of funny shape. Well, not funny, it doesn't look too bad, but it would be nice if it had a little bit of crown just here. So if this was just raised up here, so let's just crack on. So if we isolate this, let's use our famous scaling trick and then zoom in like this and then right, so what we're going to do, let's have a look at this. So I think we're going to start with these vertices here. We're going to push those up, and actually let's have a front view down here. Turn off perspective and let's continue. Let's have a look in top view actually. So top view, this edge looks pretty nice, so we're good there. So we don't want to be moving it left or right, we only want to be moving up in Z, sorry. So we're going to continue moving these up so that the relationship between these and these is consistent. So by that, in this particular instance, what I mean and what I want to achieve is I think we're going to have the widest point at the bottom and it's going to be pretty parallel, and then it's going to taper off. Bear in mind that we do have the scaled view here, so it's going to be different when that's turned off. However, let's crack on. So just going to move these up. These, I'm tempted to slide these out in X. As you can see here in this front view, these look like they could swing out just a little bit here. We've got a bit of an S going on here as well. If you look at that shape there, it's going exaggerated. It's doing that a little bit before it sort of hooks back round again. So we want to fix that as well. But for now, let's move these out. Move these in a touch. And let's move these up a little bit further. And let's turn this off because it keeps turning on and distracting my peripheral vision. So these vertices here, I'm not liking too much that they're sort of hooking round. So what we can do is we can either just draw an edge there like that so that they're straight. We'll do the same here. Move them out a little bit. And do the same thing over here. This is not entirely necessary, it just gives you a nicer edge flow. Okay, good. So let's have a look at that. So as I said, let's move that by like that. Okay, so as I said, these faces here, these ones, are going from the same thickness at the front and then they're tapering towards the back. So if we just turn off this scaling, yeah, so towards the back they get thinner. Top view, same. But now that we've straightened these out in side view, we've got a little bit of a hooking going on here. What's it doing in the front view? Okay. So we could flatten that a little bit. Oh no, sorry, we're going to bring this side up. sorry, the whole point of this was that this was too flat, this curve here. So now that we've moved those, let's now move these to follow. So let's, with the next ones down, we'll probably use this as our angle that we're gonna start moving from. So let's quickly turn off the grid. So yeah, we're gonna go gradually from this angle, and then at the bottom where it's meeting the front of the bonnet, it's going the other direction. So as you can see here, it goes from that, then there's quite a sudden change there between that one and then that one, although that relationship between those two could be good. So let's just start nudging them. So let's start with that one. Let's look in top view. Let's move these. And actually we can probably move those up like that. Let's move these. Let's move these up like this, like thus. Let's move those and these. Let's move these. And then we're going to have a little bit of a acceleration towards the front. Not too much. And I wonder if we get rid of, do we need this little triangle there? We can probably get rid of that. And then we can slide those back up. And then we can slide these up a touch as well. And just nudge them up like that. Let's move those up a little bit further. Move those up. And let's move these all outwards. And then let's grab that one. Okay, so if we're looking at these edges here, we've got a long one here, then this one's smaller, and this one's bigger than that one. So we want a gradual, what's the word I'm looking for? Gradual change, basically. So the distribution, and as well as the changes have always got to be gradual, and they've got to kind of make sense. So what I mean by this here is, well, what I'm saying basically, they've just got to gradually change in size as they move towards the front, and also the change in angle is gradual as well. So you've got this angle here, then it's a little bit further, changes a little bit, changes a bit more, and then towards the back you've got a little bit of acceleration. So we've got a nicer curve. So now if we look at these relationship between this and this and this is nicer. We could probably, it looks like, if we zoom in, it looks like it is dropping down a little bit there. There's a little bit of a flat spot there, and then it accelerates. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use our famous scaling technique, and then we're going to just grab these ones, nudge them up. Then we're going to grab these and these, nudge those up, and then we're going to grab just that one, nudge it up. Keep nudging, keep nudging. Okay, oops, will I move that back down? So nudging those up, and let's grab these, nudge them up. And then let's grab these, nudge those up, and then let's nudge this one up. That's better, isn't it? Let's have a look at that. Maybe a little bit something there. So actually at this point, I'm wondering if we want to, we've got a little bit of a funny here as well, actually. So let's move these normal to the surfaces. Then let's grab these. Yeah, let's move these out as well. I think that's the line. I think that's the one. Okay, let's turn off the scaling, put that back to 1. Let's look in top view, let's look in front view. And as I was saying earlier, we got a little bit of a funny going on here. So it's exaggerated, it's kind of doing that at this point. So what we're gonna do here is, let's see, the widest point is here, good. And then we want to just nudge these so that we've got movement is always going in one direction. So the curvature, there you go, that's better, isn't it? Okay, so we're happy with that. What we might do here as well is add, okay, so this would have been accepted in if you're just doing polygon modeling, but it's giving us a little bit of funny surfacing there. So what we might have to do in this instance is so if you turn that on, yeah, so if you've got subdivision on, you can see that there's a little bit funny. But also, equally important is, because we're going to use subdivision modeling, we don't need to have this many edges to give us that curve. So what we're going to do is get rid of them. So you can nudge these along, and they're going to be, oops, let's get rid of that. So what they're doing is they're lining up with the side of this lamp, or this rear light. So what we're going to do here is we're going to turn our subdivision modifier on. We're going to slide these along. We're going to slide these up to those and merge them with those. And then we can potentially, oops, do the same thing here. So now we've got all quad topology, and we've still got a very similar curve going around there. So that's good. And now what we could do as well is add a bevel modifier to the outer edge to give us a sharper edge to this whole bonnet. So let's do that now, shall we? So let's grab all of these edges. Let's grab all of these edges. So a triangle there, which we could get rid of as well, actually. So let's move, let's put a cut there, and then slide those down and along. Let's get rid of that triangle there. We do have one there as well. So with that one, we could just run it down here. There we go, like so. Making sure we haven't got rid of the feature. So that feature just basically washes out towards the end there. So if we just adjust these, there we go. That's good. And then, yeah, to give us a sharper edge or sharper corner here, let's first of all add our bevel modifier to this edge here. So let's select the edge, put bevel weight to 1 on there. Let's do the same thing all the way around to the front. Front, there we go, like so. Put that onto as a 1, and then let's add a, what's going on over there? Let's add a bevel modifier to that. Let's put it at the top of the stack. Make that a 2 and change that to weight. And we can change that to 2. So we've got a sharper edge there. But what we'd have to do in this corner here is add a loop, sorry, another bevel there like so. Change that to 1. And then see how that looks. That looks good. So that area there is relatively flat, so we don't have an issue with having an N-gon in that corner. So that's all good. We can do something similar here. What's happened here? So we can, if we run this to the side there, that would help that out. So we just do that instead. Let's see how that looks moving to the front. So I think at the front here, we also want a sharp corner. So we add the bevel modifier to that corner. I think we probably want one here as well. And let's see. I think that's your lot. Okay, we've got some sort of duplicate geometry over here. Oh, actually, yeah, we've still got this little bit of fender here, so we can... actually, what we could do is... Yeah, let's delete all the stuff on this side that we don't need. Let's grab this little bit of fender here, delete that, and actually we are going to be rebuilding that cladding on the other side, so we can just grab all of these, delete those, and let's detach these. Might as well add a mirror modifier while we're here. Okay, good. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to match the top of this fender to the side of that bonnet. So we're going to do that by grabbing this as before. So this is pretty much where we got to earlier, where I decided that I wasn't happy with that line, this line here. This line I'm much more happier with. So let's quickly grab that edge. And this bit. Let's separate that, select it, and we're just going to nudge it out. And so that's it there. So we've nudged it out. Now let's nudge it down a touch. And that's what we're going to be aiming for with our fender. So let's delete our old guide. Let's select that one and let's isolate those two components. Now let's get into here. Let's get rid of this flange, delete vertices, and now let's grab those. Let's see if we can duplicate the vertices that are on there. Hold on. So with that, oh, we don't want to go that far, do we? Okay, so we would not want to go that far. So let's grab this. Let's grab our guide, and in side view, we're just going to nudge it down to where we think is a more reasonable place for it to be in 3D space. So I think somewhere like there. And if we just nudge this backwards, we can aim these to be there. can snap that to that. And if we turn on edge snapping as well, we can snap like this. So now it's snapping to edges and also vertices. And then we've got auto merge on. Okay, looking good. So now let's see. We just got to decide if we're going to put a subdivision modifier on this component as well, because obviously we would have to consider slightly different workflow. So let's just go with this for now. Let's go with the assumption that we're not going to add a subdivision modifier on this piece. So what this means is, where's that gone to? Oh, it's gone to there, is it? Okay. So what this means is we're not that bothered about quads everywhere, but we probably will need more geometry. So yeah, let's see how we get on. So let's fix this feature line here now. So at the moment, how's it looking? So we've got something funny going on here, and so yeah, it's just around this area here. That's the worst case. Over here, this goes off. What's going on here? Is that causing issues there? If I pull this out, okay. So we've got a shading issue there because this is completely not planar. But if we try and make it a little bit more planar, we might be able to help. Yeah, so it's this one here. Okay, let's see. I wonder if we want to run this to here. And then move that one out, so we've got more of a gradual movement from this over to the front. And get rid of that one. Yeah, so that's fixed, or at least helped this area here. If we let's have a look. We nudge these out. So we're going to try and get a more constant flow. Okay, good. Right, so right. Let's now fix that feature line. So what's it actually doing? Does it go in and then out again? So this looks like it's going in and then hooks out. So let's have a look at the reference, the actual car. Yes, so it does do that. So it goes in, and it looks like they've used normals to manipulate that crease in there, because these aren't doing what it says in there. You can see the shadow there, but the geometry isn't. Basically that shadow looks exaggerated. So we are not going to do that. We're going to actually build that crease. So let's let's make this line flow nice in front and top. Let's isolate this. Let's push these in. So that's Y0, isn't it? X0. So that's good. And then let's make, so if we push these up and these, so we're going to get these faces to run nicer. So they go, it's quite a big change here between these and here, these. So we're just going to move these up like this, move those along, so we've got a nicer flow from front to back, or back to front. Actually back to front, isn't it? Okay, and at the front it just goes into a triangle. Okay, good, good. Okay, and then let's do our world famous little trick of using the scalar 0.1, and let's see, this was to come out, this was to go in. Let's have a look at this in side view as we're doing that. Let's isolate these. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a funny going here like this, so these want to either go in or they want to go up, and these want to come out a little bit as well. These want to come out, and these ones want to come out and or up as well. So if you look in this view and in this view, so I'm moving it up and it's fixing this here, but in side view it's starting to get maybe a little bit tall, so we will move it in, and let's grab these, let's move those out a little bit as well. Let's have a look how that's flowing. Nice. Okay, let's grab these and then pull these out, so it's gonna, so we've got one continuous curve rather than making any S's. I think that's going to look a lot better already. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at this edge flow here. Okay. We're just going to nudge those down. Let's have a look. So I think what we're going to do at this point is get rid of the normal data for this. So if we go to clear normal data, and what we could do, if we add a weighted normal, okay, so that's good. So what that's done, so yeah, as I said before, that reference one, they use they use weight, normal data on this to accentuate features like this one. So there was still bits of that which was causing some sort of funny highlighting. So if we got rid of that, it got us to here, but then what's going on here is these edges, the data from these are causing this funny sort of highlighting issues. So if we select those and we just tear those, it fixes it, because it's not getting anything, it's not collecting any normal data from these edges which are connected to these very small faces, if that makes sense. So if you do weighted normals, what it does basically is it has a threshold as to how far. I probably should recite this because I'm not doing a very good at describing it, but basically it's to do with the normals that's causing these. And if you add one of these, then you can apply it and then you can try and fix some of these manually. So these corner ones, so these will be affected again, as I said, by neighboring faces and things like if they're not planar, or if you've got sudden changes in direction, if that makes sense. But anyway, we'll leave that for now and see how bad it looks in shaded view. So it doesn't look bad at all. So let's just move on to, oh yeah, let's finish this off. Okay, so I'm wondering now if we do add a subdivision modifier to this so that we don't have such a faceted edge. It will mean a little bit more work to these to make this sub D friendly. However, we'll get we'll get nicer surfaces and more rounded edges, as you can see here. But we've got rid of the this sharp crease here, which we do want. So let's turn that back on and let's move these outboard a touch to accentuate the difference in angle. And let's slide. Actually, what's the original one doing again? Let's have a look. So it goes in, and I believe it. This corner here is slightly bigger than this one, so I think this is a sharper edge on there. I could be wrong. Let's have a look. Let's ask Google. Audi RS5 2014. Is that the same car? Yes. You can't really see what's going on there. Let's have a look at this one. Yeah, so it looks like that edge there is slightly bigger than that one. So what we want to do is slide these down like this, and then we're just gonna pull them out as well, and maybe a little bit up. So if we just grab these, so we're gonna grab all those. Oops, not that one. We're going to grab those and we're going to just pull them out slightly like this, just to give us a little crease at the top there. Something like this. Actually, looking at this now though, it looks like this one here is too small. I don't really see this fillet on this corner there, or is it? It's quite difficult to see. Let's have a look at some bigger pictures. Okay, that's a good one. What's this? Come on, let's just have a look at the car. Come on. Maybe it is there actually, and actually, yeah, no, it is there. I mean, it would be there, wouldn't it? Yeah, so I think that's quite good. That's quite close to what it should be. And I don't think anyone's going to complain. This looks like it could definitely have a little bit of curvature because it's obviously just flat. And that edge, how's it looking? It could potentially, so it's thicker, well, it's thickest around here somewhere, and it gets tapers towards the back. So I think what we could do is just nudge these inwards like so, and then pull these out a little bit. And the reason for this is so that it's it's wider sort of towards the back, so it looks like the weight is sort of leaning forward a little bit, but it would be nice if it was sort of weightier here. So we want to do something like this. Let's push these in. So we're just going to tap these. Yeah, so we're just moving the weight to the back a little bit. There we go. And then if we're being hypercritical, these could go up a touch, as could and actually this distribution here isn't very nice, so we could nudge these a little bit like this, and nudge these, push them up, nudge that one as well, and then distribute these evenly. And I feel much better about this distribution. I'll be able to sleep much better tonight, having fixed that. See, if we look at this here, it looks like it's exaggerated, it's doing that. So we definitely got to fix that. So we can do that by pulling these ones either out or, yes, out. So if we pull these out, it's fixing this. If you look at that, and then this, it's fixed it. And these could probably go up a little bit as well, like this. Very nice. That's a very nice line now. Very nice. It's like a knife blade. Good. So I think now we could probably add a loop cut here. What we're going to do here as well as adding the loop cut, we're going to increase the smoothness as well. So it's not just in between them, adds a little bit of curvature to the resulting face. Slide these over. What have we got here? We can get rid of that. Well, that's for sure. And I wonder, that's okay. Let's get rid of, just nudge these, slide those over, get rid of that. Let's also, what have we got here? So let's slide these over and out. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to add a bevel modifier to this edge as well, because it's gone very soft here. So again, or actually no, let's create this flange first. So first of all, let's see how that looks compared to the bonnet. Looks good in side view. Let's have a look in top view. So let's increase the subdivision. And oops, where's the top view? And looks like I've got a bit of a flat spot here. So let's grab these, nudge them down, and let's grab these. Oops, nudge that down. Okay, so we've got a little bit of discrepancy there because we've got a different sort of resolution, or mesh resolution. So we could copy this one by adding a bevel here and this one, but I think for the sake of this little discrepancy, I mean, I know it's there now, so it might ruin my sleep. So if I can fix it, I'll be able to sleep better. Obviously, it's very important to sleep. Okay, how's that looking? That's looking okay. We probably need, or do we? No, that's looking okay. I don't really like this hooking out, but there's going to be a big wing there, so we can hide that. Again, as long as I don't think about it, we'll be good. Okay, so let's grab this edge. Let's delete that. So we're now going to create the flange. We're now going to create the flange coming off the edge of the wing. So let's go down and left. So at a bit of an angle there. Much like you would expect the normal to that face basically. Let's go to top view. And let's see, where's that one there? Okay, nudge this down, nudge this up. There we go. Okay, let's see. Right, we've got two triangles here. What we could do is we can do something like this. And what's going on here? Let's see, side view. I think these could probably slide up like this. And this one could probably slide down. And then this one up and down. Just so that it goes into flush a little bit nicer there. So that's good. Let's see, is that good? I mean, we could add another loop cut there to get rid of that triangle. Let's try that, shall we? Let's see if that helps the washout of that feature. So in side view, I could probably go over like this. Where's that one? Okay, I can go there. In top view, these could all move over. And that one could move over a little bit as well. And I don't know if I made it worse. So we've got a little bit of a kink going on here. So if we try and look at it face on, and then move those out. Move that one out as well. There we go. And I wonder if at this point we just distribute these more evenly. Move these out a little bit. Not sure I'm happy with that. Okay, let's have a look. How's that looking? Let's diving down. Let's pull these out and down, and then move this one down as well. I think that's better. Still not perfect. So let's spend a little bit more time on this and then move on to something else. Actually, let's have a look at the let's have a look at the reference model. Where are we? Reference this one. Okay, so it just goes to a point there like that. Okay. Okay. Okay, what can we do here? So what we want to do is we want to reduce the amount of geometry there, so we can do. So we want those to be flat. They are quite flat, but actually at this point I'm not entirely sure what I'm looking for. So I think we might just leave it. Let's have a look with the light on. Oops. Ah. Looks nice there. Oops. There we go. Okay. So should that be a smaller? No, that's good actually. Okay, let's just move these up a little bit like this, so that they flow in a little bit better. Right, let's go back to adding our bevel modifier to that edge. So let's go these. Let's grab this one while we're here, make that nice and sharp. Let's go all the way around here. Let's go those. There's no edge on there, so you don't see that anyway actually, so that's fine. And then over here, let's grab this edge. Let's add a bevel weight to that. Let's also complete this, oh no, let's attach that to there, and then add that bevel weight to that. Let's get rid of this triangle here. So let's go from here to here. Let's get rid of that. And then let me see. So can we, no we can't. So we don't want to be washing that out, running that down to here. And I don't like the triangle being on this edge. So what if we do this? So we've got a quad there. Yeah, let's just see how it looks. Okay, let's add a bevel modifier to that, put it at the top of the stack, put a 1 in there, change that to weight, and put that to 2 and 2. Is that right? Is that the same as it was on the bonnet? What's the bonnet? 2 and 2. Now, do they look similar? Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's have a look before and after. Without, with, without. Oh, that's the bonnet. Without, with, without, with. Okay, so that's good. I would have thought it'd be more noticeable on this edge. Oh, it's not on that edge, that's why it's not noticeable. So let's just put it on here and here. Let's run it down all the way down here, bevel weight 1, and 1 on this corner. Oh, it's there already. Why is it not giving us a nice corner then? 2, 4, 6, 7. There's a duplicate somewhere. There we go. And what's going on here then? Get rid of that. Nudge those up. And I think we're good to start on the cladding. The wheel arch cladding. So what's this here? Was this the split line? Yes. So we got rid of that. Okay, let's detach, or rather separate the fenders from the main body, or the rear bumper. Let's select those. Let's select these fixings. Select these fixings, separate, selection, and we should get rid of that. So let's get rid of this side, and let's get rid of the fixings first, or let's hide them rather. So select the fixings, and separate them. And then these fixing texture bits as well. Oh, they're attached to the fixings themselves, are they? Oh no, they're completely separate. Okay. Now let's grab these. Let's attach these to these. Select all. Tries to quads. Let's get rid of a few of these rogue vertices. There we go. Get rid of all those, and then on this side too. Oops, not those. Get rid of these, and that one. We can turn auto merge on, slide those over, and we did this too quick. Okay, so we could have adjusted these so that it did this tries to quads a little bit nicer. Now we've got to go in and do this manually, which is slightly annoying, but all good. It could have been a lot worse. So we're just going to grab those and these. Alright, and get rid of these. Okay, so got some here as well. Let's get rid of these, and let's attach that to that. Okay. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to raise this bottom one, and then increase the width of it. So actually, it looks like it's wider there anyway for some reason. That's weird. Why did I do that? Okay, so let's grab these. No, actually, first of all, let's just hide those, and now we can just select all of these and select that one, unhide those, deselect these, deselect those, and now select this one here, and we're going to go shear upwards and see how that looks. So shearing looks quite good, and if we scale in Z, I think scaling up looks better. So scale Z, and let's scale also in X slightly if we need to. No, I don't think we need to actually. So what we can do is we can scale this edge, so scale that down in Z. So that's snapped, that's good. And then we can grab these. We can scale those in X as well. That should hopefully snap as well. And let's grab these. Go to this point here, as before. Scale that in X. That should snap, very nice. Okay, so now let's grab all of these all the way from down here. No, let's not do that. Okay, let's grab, I am tempted to just snap this to this, and this one, this one to this one, so at least that face now is consistent. And now all we got to do is rotate these or shear them. There we go. So we've got a more consistent eyebrow. So let's let's slide these down, this one down as well, and then let's just nudge these out just a touch so we've got a nice straighter line going from here to here. Slide those down, slide that one down as well, move that out. Okay, very good. So now what we can do is we can just rebuild those so that we have a nicer flow of edges here. Oops. And all the way up. Like so. Oops, not hide. And from there to there. And let's just grab those. Slide those. Oops. Slide those. Slide these. And these. Okay, good. Let's get rid of the normal data. Let's add a weighted normal modifier to that. Apply it. Okay, so it does still look like it gets a bit narrower there. However, it's nowhere near as bad as it was before. So if we just grab these again, and then we do shear, and we just pull those out a touch, like this. Nice. Let's undo that. Let's move that out of the selection, and again let's shear these out. That's better, isn't it? Before, after, before, after. Okay, that's good. And then let's select this one, and this time we'll just scale it in Y just a touch. And looks like it gets a little bit narrower just here, so we'll do. Oh, I'm not sure if we wanted to. Or did we? No, we did want to do that. It is getting a little bit thin here, so we're just going to have to. If we just deselect those, and we scale in Y. Let's undo that. Let's add these to the selection. Select. Scale it in Y, deselect, scale in Y, deselect, scale in Y. Just do this manually, and that is a much nicer wheel arch eyebrow. Let's grab these, let's move them out, and then we've got a nice consistent flow going around the wheel arch eyebrow. So we've got a little bit of funny wonky line there, so we can fix that as well. So if we just grab this one and we use that as a guide, and we can just align these to it like so. There we go. And this one, let's get rid of that one, and let's do something. Oops. Let's do something similar with this one. So straight line there. So just nudge these up so they line up with that line, and then grab that one, delete, and let's just nudge these. And these, and these, very nice. Okay, let's see how that looks from the rear. We could potentially move these in like this, and we can exaggerate this a little bit as well by scaling in X. Deselect those, scale in X, just to exaggerate that a little bit more. And then let's move to the top. So we could probably get rid of this edge. Let's move this, snap it to there, snap that to there. Let's snap those to there. Those to there, that 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 to there. Let's get rid of this triangle. And now let's go straight down. And then we're going to try and line this up so we got a nice flow from rear or front to back. So that looks like this little seal there between the that little bolt-on bit, the cladding. So we could probably raise this up a little bit, so it goes up, raises up, rises up. The highest point is there, and it drops back down again to this point here. So let's do exactly that. So let's do our world famous scaling trick to make this task a little bit easier. Let's not go over the top. Alright, so the highest point is going to be, let's say, there. Let's go something like there. And then we can grab, oops, nope, undo that. Grab these and then scale those up in Z. Not those, not that one. Scale, let's try shearing. That's better, okay. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Yeah, something like that, good. Okay, and then let's grab these to this point and let's shear those down. See, that's looking in top view. So these could potentially come out like so. This one could come in X. I'm just going to do a couple of little adjustments here just to make this look like it's flowing a little bit better. These could go in a touch like this as well, just so they're touching that surface a little bit better. Although it looks like there's a gap there actually for that seal, so maybe that was good where it was. Like this. And then the seal, let's detach that, or separate it rather. Let's separate this one. And then let's attach those two. Join. Let's quickly isolate those. Let's try us to quad it. Change that to 1. That's good. Let's get rid of those ends. So let's leave that there for now. And we're going to just quickly finish the cladding off. Okay. Let's have a look in side view. Okay, so side view, it looks like it could do, so it looks like from this point definitely doesn't really need changing. So if we grab all of these and we shear these out so they're closer, and in this view let's shear them down, tallest point being somewhere there. I think that's a great start. Let's have a look. Oops, let's keep this in side view actually. Side view, and then we've got top view over here. It looks like it's peeling away from the surfaces there, so let's just pull those out just by eye to start with. Okay. Oh, we're forgetting about our seal again, aren't we? Okay, good. So is that a triangle there? We could probably use that to our advantage. Yes. So is this has got subdivision on it, isn't it? Yeah, so we can get rid of these triangles. A square there. Oh yeah, triangle there. Right, what are we doing? It's not causing us any issues actually, that triangle, so just let it be. Okay, so let's now, what we probably want to do actually is build, so we could snap these to that body side. Actually, let's manipulate this a little bit. So this peak could look a little bit more peaky, I think. And let's manipulate these a little bit as well. Like so. So what we could do here is we could snap these to the body side, and then they'll be bang on the body side. However, we can probably use this seal as a guide instead. So let's just do that. So this, actually the seal's in the wrong place, isn't it? So where is it relative to that? So if we put it, so it's just above it, just above the wheel arch cladding, or we can just check how it's done on the original car. So let's go to the reference. So in side view, actually you can't see that seal at all in side view, so it's hidden. So it's completely hidden. So the cladding goes down before it goes along. So let's do the same with our one. Actually, at this point, let's just merge these two collections, get rid of that one, and let's grab this, this and this, and we're going to adjust the seal so that is sitting just below the cladding, so you don't see it unless you look down it. So we're just going to line it up with the bottom edge of that cladding, that edge of that cladding, and let's merge the old back with the old front there, and let's just continue going down and along like so. There we go, very nice. Okay, and now we just got to adjust it in top view like so. There we go. So it looks like we could probably make a little bit of adjustment on the actual cladding itself as we're doing this. So in this particular example, we can move these two out and then these two out as well. Let's move that one out first and then the cladding to follow. Let's move seal out first, then cladding to follow. Seal out, cladding to follow, and then on the back there, I think we're good. Okay, how's that looking? That's quite a concave little piece there, and actually this is really peeled away from there for some reason. So let's go back to the top view. Let's select these, select those, move them until they intersect. So they did need a little bit of a move, and then these ones as well. Yeah, so that's good. So now we're using a seal as a guide, which is very useful. So we've got a little bit of a funny there. So what we're going to do here, we're just going to grab, let's say, probably from here, from here to here, we're going to distribute those evenly. So from there to there, from, oops, getting a little bit fiddly here. So let's remember it's that one there, isolate that. So this one to here, remember it's going to be that one. So from there to the center, which is there, equal distribution. From there to there, equal distribution. From there to there, from there to there, there to there, there to there, this one to this one, this one to this one, this one to here, and this one to there. And they're distributed much nicer now. And then we can go back to the top view. And now when I do this, we should be able to sit on the surface a lot nicer here. And just got to bear in mind that if I'm going to put a subdivision modifier on here, these will probably sink below the surface. But I think we might try and avoid a subdivision modifier here because it might add a little bit more work, which might be unnecessary. Oops. What's going on here? Which might be... how do you turn this off? I don't want this. Which might be unnecessary if it looks good anyway. So if we add a weighted normals modifier to that, that surface looks good. Let's apply that. Let's have a quick little comparison because this concave bit looks very, very suspicious. And indeed it is very suspicious. So we don't have this on the actual card. Let's have a look on the back. So this must be a byproduct of what we've been doing. So we are just going to, and actually what we're going to do is a little shortcut here. So what we're going to do, we're just going to grab these, merge them with those. So rather than having to do 2 rows, we just do 1. We move it to where we want it. So I think it's more of a concave shape there. Let's go to the reference. So it's a little bit concave, or is it? I don't know. It looks quite. It's a little bit concave at the top, but maybe convex here. So maybe I've over-egged it a little bit there. So let's go into here. But we can use this as a guide, so that's good. And now we can deselect these 2 end ones. And then let's add a bevel to here. Like so, just something so it's similar to where it was before. Let's join this one and this one. Slide those out. Let's just make a little adjustment there. And let's do the same thing on the back. Join and join. Slide and slide. Get rid of that one. And then what we can do is if we just grab these ones, we can just use the old, what's this called? Shrink flatten. So we're just going to nudge these just a touch like that, just so we got a similar character to what we had before. And let's just quickly add another weighted normal modifier, apply that, and there we go. Let's just have a quick look at that, all nice and shaded up with these beautiful shaders, and that is looking nice. So what we could do is probably lower it a little bit and pull the wheels out, give them a little bit of camber, and just make it look a little bit more mean. These are just floating above the wheel arch, aren't they? So let's try and line those up. What we could do, it involves a little bit more work, but we could align this with world origin, and then we can move it so that it snaps to the face of these, which might be... Should we try that? Let's try it. Why not? Okay, so to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to select one of these, separate it, select one of these, separate it. Let's join these together, let's make a copy of this and put it down here on the floor. Let's delete or move it out from so it's not parented anymore, and let's isolate that. Let's select it all. Let's try to quad it so it's nice and clean. Let's just have a quick look at it, shade it up. So that's like a little rivet there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to snap, or we're going to rotate this. Where's our grid? Yeah, so we're just going to, let's move the origin to the center of mass, which is there. And let's move that somewhere there. So what we're going to do, we're going to select this face, and we're going to press Shift and 7. And now we're going to create an empty, and we're going to put that empty. Sorry, no, we're not. We're going to, first of all, we're going to move the cursor to selected. Then we're going to move origin to 3D cursor. Then we're going to create an empty, and we're going to put it in view. So now this empty it's got the same, it's facing exactly the same way as that, as this rivet thing. So now if we attach that rivet to this empty, or parent them, what we can do now is if we look in side view, so if I now changed all of these to 0 and all of these to 0, this would now be lining up with the world origin, with the world coordinates rather. So we've got that where we want it. We can now clear the parenting. We can get rid of that empty. Let's hide that one. And let's just rotate this so that it's facing this way. And actually, as I'm doing this, I'll make a disclaimer that I've never actually done this. I've seen a tutorial of this being done, so hopefully it works. So let's turn off the grids. Let's now isolate this and these. So we want one of these rivet things and those places. So what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this, and then we're going to move it, and then we're going to go up here. We're going to turn on face, align the rotation to target. Is it face or face project? Let's try both. And center. There we go. Right. So now if I move that, yeah, so the rotation isn't really working. I'll tell you why that is. The reason for that is if we look up here, the rotation of it, even though because we've rotated it, it's all gone all skew-if. So if we zero transform all that and zero transform the other one, our copy. So our copy is just a backup basically. Let's rename that rivet. So now if we move that, it should be lining up perfectly with that face. So if we carry on like this, and if we do local, we should be able to rotate that about Z in this case. So rotate Z, and if we just move it up a little bit, we can line it up perfectly with where we want it. And we want to just move it a little bit off that surface, so we move it up in Z and move it up in Y. Let's have a look at it in here. We can get rid of that old one. Let's isolate that, make sure nothing else is selected, delete, unhide that, and let's bring everything else back up. There we go. And what we could do here as well is we're going to give this a little special shader. So if we grab this shader here, so this one is this one. So if we select this, go into the shaders. Actually, first of all, let's clear, remove unused slots. Okay, so that's badges, and that's, all right, so that must be the rivet, and that's car paint. So what we're going to do, create a new shader, and let's go to asset browser. So I've got a little shader here. Let's have a little look at it. So it's called Floater. So if I just grab all of these, copy, go into car paint. So only for these rivets, let's rename this one and call it car paint floater. And if we paste this, get rid of that. So what I've done here, so if you want to duplicate this, these are the settings you got to use. So basically whatever you're using for your car paint, copy it and plug it into this, and then copy everything else. And basically what this will do is it's going to hide the underneath of that, so it looks like that's flush, so it looks like it's attached to that. So this is, so before, so if I do a before and after, so if I just make a copy of that, duplicate that, oops, duplicate that, so the before, so let's put it roughly where that one is. So if I delete this shader from here, and let's get rid of, so has that applied that to that, has it? Okay. So if we select this and give, wrong shader, and we put the car paint shader on there and apply it to that. So yeah, so without that little special trick there, you can see that this is floating, whereas this one is not. So basically what this is doing is, if I remember correctly, is it making the back face invisible? No, it's not, because you can see the back face. What's it actually doing then? Transparent depth. Right, anyway, you just have to take my word for it. That is good. Because it's making this rivet looks like it's part of the that fender. So let's do the same thing for all the others. Okay, so we want, where else do we want one? Let's hide that one quick. So we've got one there. Let's hide that. Let's copy this one. And right, so there's one roughly there. So duplicate, turn snapping on. And let's put it roughly there. Let's rotate around Z. And let's move that up in Z. Let's turn snapping off, up in Z. There we go. And let's add another one. Put it, should we move that up a little bit? Actually, let's just do them first and then let's redistribute them as we need. So duplicate, move, and roughly there. Rotate about Z, move it up in Y, and we can duplicate the next one. Duplicate, move, oops, move, and move it to there, roughly. Get rid of that one. Get rid of those. And, oops, get rid of those rivet bits. Actually, we need to keep those ones on the bottom. So let's delete only those ones. Probably could have left that one there actually, because I don't think that's moved, but it doesn't matter. Okay, let's move this to there. Rotate about Z. And then rotate a little bit more about Z. And then move that in Y. Good. And another one. Duplicate, move to there. Move it down there, rotate about Z. Move it outwards. Rotate about Z. This one's good. This one hasn't moved much either. So really it's just these two there we've got to do. So actually I think we can just copy these rather than copying that one from the bottom. So if we go duplicate and move. Yeah, that's good. Delete this one. Move this one up. And delete this one. Delete this one. It's part of a group. Get rid of those. Get rid of those. And then move this one up here. Rotate about Z. Move down in Y. Oops. Alright, rotate about Z. Move down in Y. Move down in Y. Rotate about Z. Oh, this one's gone a bit off the beaten track. Move it up a little bit. Rotate about Z. And how's this one looking? Move it about, move it up in Y and rotate about Z a little bit. Right, so those are looking good. Do we want one there as well? I think we do. Duplicate and chuck it in there. Rotate about Z. Move it down a touch. And then what we're going to do, we can select all of these. Actually, hold on. They're not quite on the surface there, are they? So I think we're good. Let's have a look. How do they look? So we probably have to wait until they're properly rendered up to see the end result. And also make sure that they've got the right shader on. So these should be car paint floater. Car paint floater on there. Car paint floater. Car paint floater. I thought I'd done at least one of these, but anyway, so we're just changing all of those so that they look like they're part of the cladding. There we go, and one last one down here. We're going to just grab this bottom one as well. These bottom ones, so we need to just change them to, oops, where is it? Oh no, what's going on here? What are these? Wow, so you can't, so it looks like they've baked in the normal data for this, which is why you can't see it at all. So that's very, very smart. So let's select them, and we're just going to apply the new car paint floater material to those. And let's do, there, perfect. Right, so let's have a quick look at the wheels. So I think we decided, well, we definitely decided to go for wider, because wider is obviously always better. So they're slightly more deep dish as well, those wheels on the front. So let's quickly do that, and we can potentially, oops, let's select the ground plane. And let's make it non-selectable. And what are we doing? So we're going to do the wheels next. So wheels, isolate. Let's hide the scaler for a sec. So why do we have those? If we merge those by distance, and let's have a look at the shading. Can we get rid of custom normals? What's going on here then? Non-color, non-color. So if we go to so if we add a weighted normals to that, it does nothing. So we want to add a little bit of an edge to there. I don't know why that crease is showing up actually, because it's not that big a change in direction. Okay, so let's add a bevel to that edge. Do you know what, let's just add a shrink wrap modifier to that and make it smooth and be done with it. Let's delete the, still looks a bit faceted. Why is this? Clear custom split normals, shade smooth. Why do we have these facets? That's very strange. Simple. Sorry. Yeah, that's strange. No idea why it's showing that like that. Let's save that in case it dies. Let's recalculate normals. Let's also, must say I'm at a bit of a loss why we've got these. Let's have a look at the normals. Face orient, yeah, there's no face orientation is on. Strange, very strange. If we increase this, or if we take that off, let's have a look at the image that it's using. It could be something to do with the image that it's using for the for these. So let's change. What was that plugged into? The blue. Let's see the roughness. So it's not the roughness, normal. So it's the normal. Okay. So it's the normal image that's causing that. So it could be a low resolution image that's causing that. So we got there in the end. That's good. So again, so we can upscale that image using some sort of AI or something, but for now, let's just leave it. Let's move cursor to, oops, no, let's move 3D cursor to origin point, which is there. Select all. Let's move origin to 3D cursor, which is there. Let's just make sure that's mirroring around there. Okay, good. Let's add a mirror modifier to this. Let's make the object that it mirrors about the scalar. Now let's select all and let's duplicate or copy those modifiers over. And then let's just call this wheel. And then let's select the brake caliper and call this wheel. And then we will, so that's going to be the wheel, and then this, oh, let's add a empty, put it in there, reduce the size of that empty to around 100 so it doesn't look so big. We're going to rename this rotate. Then we're going to group or put everything that doesn't rotate into a collection. Why can't I select that? Oh, there we go. So everything rotates basically apart from these bits. So let's select all those, join them. And then we're going to put all of these items into rotate, and then rotate will go into wheel. We'll get rid of that collection. Then we're going to double click that and move it into this collection. And we're going to turn that on. I'm going to turn that on, and then we're going to rename this body. Then we are going to put everything into parent everything with body. Then we're going to, what's this empty again? So the same as scalar. What's this one here doing? Can we delete that? I think so. Okay, so let's move that into there and put the wheel into there. Let's rename, let's not bother renaming. Okay, good. So let's now add a little bit of camber to those wheels. So let's select the wheel, rotate. Actually, let's first of all apply the rotation and the location. Is that going to move? Oh no, we don't want to do that. Let's now select the body, go into edit mode, make sure nothing is hidden. Nothing is hidden. Select all and just nudge it down a little bit. Could always be lower, couldn't it? And then let's move, so that's the body. The center of the body, sorry, the height of the scalar is 303, so let's round that off to 304. And the wheels, let's give them a little bit of camber. So let's call it, let's say 2 degrees, and let's nudge them out a little bit as well in X. Okay, good. And just very quickly, what we can do here is if we select the rotate empty, what we can do is we can add a driver to that, and we can make it controlled by the scalar. If you go back into that driver, edit driver, so if that scalar empty moves in Y, then the rotation will rotate. So if I now move this, the wheel, oh, that's turning the wrong way. So if you go back into that rotate, right click, edit, edit, add a minus in there. So now if we move this scalar in Y, the wheel will turn with it. Yeah. And that is your lot. So watch out for the upcoming animation, and yeah, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for all your questions, all your input. I really appreciate it, and yeah, I've really enjoyed this. I hope to do another one early next week. So yeah, please tune in again. Thank you very much, and have a lovely evening. How do you turn this off now?